Hello, welcome to my channel. I will be grateful for the like and subscriptions. I suggest you listen to a new story.
Laurie Cullen sat alone in her small apartment, her eyes filled with tears. It had been a trying day, one filled with bitter arguments and hurtful words. Her daughter, Megan O'Neill, and son-in-law, Keith Sims, had driven her out of the place she called home, leaving her feeling betrayed and abandoned. Laurie wiped away her tears and tried to steady her trembling hands. She couldn't believe that Megan, her own flesh and blood, would treat her this way. They had always had their differences, but Laurie had never expected her daughter to turn against her. Megan had become consumed by her own ambition and materialistic desires. She was a successful businesswoman, always chasing after the next big deal. She seemed to have forgotten the importance of family, neglecting Laurie in favor of her career. Keith, on the other hand, was caught in the middle. He loved Megan deeply but also understood the pain Laurie was going through. He tried to mediate between them, but his attempts often fell on deaf ears. It seemed that Megan's desires had clouded her judgment and hardened her heart. Laurie's heart ached as she thought about the arguments that had led to her eviction. Megan had started demanding that she pay for the apartment, even though Laurie was living on a meager pension. The financial burden had become too much for Laurie, and she was forced to leave her home. Desperate and hurt, Laurie embarked on the search for a new place to live. She felt alone and vulnerable, unsure of what the future held for her. But amidst her despair, a glimmer of hope appeared. Laurie remembered her old friend Vincent Bowles, a wise and experienced man who had always been there for her. She reached out to him, pouring her heart out about the situation with Megan and Keith. Vincent listened intently, offering his support and guidance. Vincent, seeing Laurie's pain, decided to offer her a temporary home in his own house. He knew that she needed a safe space to heal and regain her strength. Laurie was grateful beyond words and accepted his offer with a mix of relief and trepidation. As Laurie settled into her new surroundings, she found solace in the warmth and familiarity of Vincent's home. The old friends spent hours talking, reminiscing about the past, and dreaming of a better future. Vincent's presence provided Laurie with the stability and love she had been craving. Meanwhile, Megan's pursuit of success had left her feeling empty and unfulfilled. The more she gained in terms of material possessions, the more she lost touch with her own humanity. She began to question her choices and longed for a deeper connection with her family. One evening, as Megan sat alone in her luxurious penthouse, her mind overwhelmed with thoughts of her estranged mother, she finally reached a breaking point. The emptiness inside her became unbearable, and she knew she had to confront her own actions. Megan picked up her phone and dialed Laurie's number. Her heart raced as she waited for her mother to answer. When Laurie's voice finally came through the receiver, Megan took a deep breath and spoke, her voice filled with emotion. "Mom, it's Megan," she said, her voice trembling. "I need to talk to you. Can we meet?" Laurie hesitated for a moment, unsure of whether she could handle another confrontation. But deep down, she still held love for her daughter and hoped for reconciliation. She agreed to meet, and they set a date and time at a quiet cafe. The day of the meeting arrived, and Laurie found herself sitting anxiously at a corner table in the cafe. Her hands trembled as she waited for Megan to arrive. She couldn't help but feel a mix of anticipation and fear about what her daughter had to say. As Laurie's heart pounded in her chest, the cafe door swung open and Megan stepped inside. The sight of her daughter brought a rush of emotions to Laurie's eyes, and she couldn't hold back the tears that welled up. "Megan," Laurie whispered, her voice choked with both sadness and longing. Megan's eyes met her mother's, and she saw the pain reflected in them. She took a deep breath and approached the table, her own eyes welling with tears. "Mom," Megan said, her voice quivering, "I am so sorry for everything. I've been blinded by my own ambitions, and I've neglected the most important person in my life, you." Laurie's tears fell freely now as Megan continued, her voice filled with remorse. "I can't imagine the hurt I've caused you. I drove you out of your home, and I've treated you with such disrespect. I was so focused on material success that I lost sight of what truly matters. I lost sight of you, Mom." The sincerity in Megan's voice struck a chord deep within Laurie's heart. She reached out and clasped Megan's hands, her voice filled with a mixture of pain and forgiveness. "Megan, my dear daughter," Laurie said, her voice trembling, "I have felt lost without you. The pain of our separation has been unbearable, but I can see in your eyes that you are remorseful, and that gives me hope." They sat in silence for a moment, their hands tightly entwined, before Megan continued. "I want to make things right, Mom. I want to repair our relationship, and I want you to know that I love you more than anything. I am willing to do whatever it takes to earn your forgiveness." Laurie nodded, her eyes filled with a mix of vulnerability and strength. "I believe in second chances, Megan," she said softly, "but it will take time and effort from both of us. We have to rebuild the trust that was shattered. Are you willing to make that commitment?" Megan nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I am, Mom. I am willing to do whatever it takes. I don't want to lose you. You are my mother, and I need you in my life." With those words, Laurie and Megan embraced, their tears mingling together in a bittersweet moment of reconciliation. The wounds of the past were far from healed, but they had taken the first step toward healing, toward rebuilding their fractured bond. In the days that followed their emotional meeting, Laurie and Megan embarked on a journey of healing and reconciliation. They spent hours talking, sharing their deepest fears and regrets. The walls that had separated them began to crumble as they opened up to each other. As Megan delved deeper into her own soul-searching, she realized that her material pursuits had left her feeling hollow and disconnected. She longed for a more meaningful connection with her family and vowed to prioritize their well-being over her own ambitions. Megan and Laurie decided to involve the rest of the family in their quest for healing. They invited Keith, Opal, and Stephen to join them for a family gathering at Vincent's house. It was an opportunity for open dialogue and a chance to mend the broken bonds. The family gathered in Vincent's cozy living room, their hearts heavy with the weight of past conflicts. Opal, with her gentle spirit, took on the role of mediator, facilitating the conversation and ensuring that everyone had a chance to be heard. Tears were shed and voices quivered as each family member expressed their deepest regrets and genuine desire for reconciliation. Keith acknowledged his part in neglecting Laurie's well-being and admitted that he had allowed Megan's ambitions to overshadow their family's happiness. Stephen, who had been quietly observing the emotional exchange, spoke up with sincerity in his voice. He shared his perspective as an outsider looking in, emphasizing the importance of empathy and understanding in family relationships. He turned to Megan and Keith, gently urging them to reflect on the impact of their actions and to prioritize the emotional well-being of their loved ones. Megan and Keith listened intently to Stephen's words, their eyes filled with a mix of regret and realization. They realized that they had been so focused on their individual pursuits that they had lost sight of the love and support their family needed. With tearful eyes, Megan reached out to Laurie, taking her hands in hers. "Mom, I am truly sorry for the pain I've caused you," she said, her voice filled with genuine remorse. "I want to make it right. I want to be there for you, just as you have always been there for me." Laurie looked into her daughter's eyes, seeing the sincerity and the longing for forgiveness. She felt a glimmer of hope, a flicker of the bond they once shared. "Megan, forgiveness is not easily given, but it is not impossible," Laurie replied, her voice tinged with a mix of vulnerability and strength. "I want us to rebuild our relationship, but it will take time and effort from both of us." Megan nodded, her tears mingling with a newfound determination. "I am willing to put in the work, Mom," she said softly. "I want to mend what I've broken and be the daughter you deserve." Laurie smiled, a faint glimmer of hope in her eyes. "And I want to be the mother you need," she replied, her voice filled with love and acceptance. With their hearts open to healing, the family spent the rest of the evening engaged in heartfelt conversations, sharing stories, and rediscovering the love that had always been at the core of their relationship. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. The journey of healing and reconciliation continued for Laurie, Megan, Keith, Opal, and Stephen. They committed themselves to nurturing their relationships, prioritizing love and understanding above all else. Megan, true to her word, made a conscious effort to slow down her relentless pursuit of success. She started carving out quality time for her family, attending family dinners, and engaging in meaningful conversations. She began to appreciate the value of presence and connection over material accomplishments. Keith, inspired by Megan's change of heart, also made a shift in his priorities. He took on a more active role in creating a nurturing and loving environment for their family. He spent time with Laurie, taking her on outings and listening to her stories with genuine interest and care. Opal and Stephen, witnessing the transformation within their parents, felt a renewed sense of hope for their family. They actively supported their parents' efforts and continued to be the bridge between the generations, fostering understanding and love. Meanwhile, Laurie, fueled by the newfound support and reconciliation, found herself embracing a new chapter in her life. She decided to turn her talents and skills into a small business, offering her expertise to the community. Laurie's entrepreneurial spirit soared as she created handmade crafts and shared her wisdom through workshops and classes. Word of Laurie's talent and passion spread throughout the community, and her small business began to thrive. People admired not only the beauty of her creations, but also the resilience and strength she embodied. Laurie's success served as a testament to the power of reinvention and following one's passions, inspiring others to do the same. Megan and Keith, recognizing the significance of Laurie's business, became her biggest supporters. They attended her workshops, promoted her products, and encouraged their own social circles to engage with Laurie's creations. They were determined to make amends and ensure Laurie's success. The family's collective efforts paid off as Laurie's business flourished. She gained a loyal customer base and received recognition for her craftsmanship. The success of her business became a source of pride and joy for the entire family, strengthening their bond and reminding them of the resilience they possessed. With time, the wounds of the past continued to heal, replaced by a newfound sense of love and connection within the family. They no longer took their relationships for granted, cherishing every moment they spent together. Family gatherings became a regular occurrence, filled with laughter, shared meals, and heartfelt conversations. The love that had been strained was now rekindled, stronger than ever before. As Laurie's business continued to thrive, she decided to give back to the community that had supported her. She organized charity events and donated a portion of her proceeds to local organizations that aligned with her values. The act of giving brought her immense fulfillment and further solidified the bonds between her and her family. The family's journey of healing and growth became an inspiration to those around them. Friends and acquaintances witnessed the transformation and were moved by the power of forgiveness and love. The story of Laurie, Megan, Keith, Opal, and Stephen became a beacon of hope, reminding others that it is never too late to mend broken relationships and rebuild bonds. With each passing day, the family members continued to evolve and grow individually. Megan found fulfillment not just in her career, but in the love and support of her family. Keith embraced his role as a loving husband and father, finding joy in the simple moments spent with his loved ones. Opal and Stephen nurtured their own relationship, learning from the lessons of their parents and grandparents. They vowed to prioritize love, communication, and understanding in their own journey as a couple. Years passed, and the love within the family continued to blossom. Laurie's business thrived, and she became a respected figure in the community, known not only for her craftsmanship, but for her resilience and kindness. Megan and Keith found a balance between their professional aspirations and their family life, always prioritizing the well-being of their loved ones. Opal and Stephen, guided by the lessons learned from their family's journey, built a strong and compassionate partnership. They carried forward the legacy of love and understanding, passing it on to the next generation. As the family celebrated milestones together, birthdays, anniversaries, and holidays, their hearts overflowed with gratitude. They recognized the preciousness of their relationships and vowed to never take each other for granted again. Lori, now in her twilight years, found solace in knowing that her family had not only reconciled, but had grown stronger through their challenges. She reveled in the joy of seeing her loved ones happy and united. One sunny afternoon, the family gathered in Lori's backyard for a simple yet meaningful reunion. Laughter filled the air as they shared stories, indulged in delicious food, and basked in the warmth of their love for one another. As the day drew to a close, Lori looked around at her family, a sense of contentment washing over her. She couldn't help but reflect on the journey they had traveled together, the pain, the healing, and the growth. It had been a long and challenging road, but the rewards were immeasurable. With a smile on her face and a heart full of love, Lori raised her glass and proposed a toast to family, to forgiveness, and to the beautiful journey of growth. May our bonds remain unbreakable, and may love always guide us. The family clinked their glasses together, their eyes shining with gratitude and love. In that moment, they knew that they were not just a family bound by blood, but a family bound by a deep, unshakable connection. As the years went by, the family continued to support and uplift one another. They celebrated new accomplishments, shared in each other's joys, and provided comfort during times of sorrow. Their bond grew even stronger, a testament to their commitment to love, understanding, and forgiveness. Lori, now in her twilight years, found immense happiness in the love and unity of her family. She felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that the legacy she had hoped to leave behind was alive and thriving. In the quiet moments of reflection, Lori often found herself grateful for the challenges she had faced in her life. Those difficulties had shaped her into the resilient and compassionate woman she had become. They had also paved the way for the healing and growth that had brought her family back together. Lori cherished every moment spent with her loved ones, savoring the laughter, the shared stories, and the simple acts of love. She understood the preciousness of time and made sure to express her affection and appreciation for each family member. As the seasons changed and the years passed, the family continued to honor their commitment to one another. They held annual family gatherings, creating lasting memories and reinforcing their unbreakable bond. Lori's business thrived, and she became a beloved figure in the community. Her crafts adorned homes, and her workshops inspired others to embrace their own creativity. Through her success, she continued to spread love and joy to those around her. The family's story became a source of inspiration for others who faced similar challenges. Lori, Megan, Keith, Opal, and Stephen shared their experiences and lessons learned, encouraging others to prioritize forgiveness, understanding, and love in their own lives. Through speaking engagements and writing, they touched the hearts of many, reminding them that family is worth fighting for, and that healing is possible even in the face of deep wounds. As the years passed, the family faced new trials and tribulations, as life inevitably brings its ups and downs. But armed with the lessons they had learned, they navigated these challenges with grace and resilience. Lori continued to be the anchor of the family, offering wisdom and guidance with her gentle spirit. Megan and Keith remained committed to nurturing their relationships, never losing sight of the importance of their loved ones. Opal and Stephen, now parents themselves, embraced the lessons passed down to them, creating a loving and harmonious environment for their own children. The family's commitment to love, understanding, and forgiveness had a ripple effect on their extended relationships as well. They reached out to estranged relatives, mended broken friendships, and extended their circle of compassion and support. Their story touched the lives of many, reminding them of the power of forgiveness and the strength of familial bonds. They became a beacon of hope and inspiration, showing others that it is never too late to heal and rebuild relationships. As the years went by, the family faced the inevitable passage of time. Laurie, Megan, Keith, Opal, and Stephen grew older, their hair graying and their steps a bit slower. But their love for one another remained unwavering, a constant source of strength and comfort. They continued to gather for family celebrations, sharing laughter and creating new memories. They treasured the moments spent together, knowing that the love they had cultivated would endure long after they were gone. One fateful day, as Laurie sat on her porch, her family surrounding her, she couldn't help but feel an overwhelming sense of gratitude. She looked into the eyes of her daughter, son-in-law, granddaughter, and grandson-in-law, seeing the love and growth that had blossomed within each of them. Tears welled up in Laurie's eyes as she reflected on the journey they had embarked on together. From the pain and heartache to the joy and healing, they had weathered every storm. They had emerged not only as a family, but as a testament to the power of forgiveness, resilience, and unconditional love. As the sun set, casting a warm glow over the family, Laurie took a deep breath, savoring the moment. She knew that their story would continue to inspire others, reminding them of the transformative power of forgiveness and the unbreakable bonds of family. With a heart full of love, Laurie whispered a heartfelt prayer of gratitude, thanking the universe for the gift of her family and the strength they had found within themselves. In that sacred moment, she knew that their journey was complete and they had truly come home to each other.
If you liked this story, then like and subscribe to the channel.